Everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever this video reaches you out there. Welcome to my live stream. You're watching George Mills. I'm the host for today, and today we're going to be talking a lot about this Brazilian scholarship, which is an international mobility program scholarship. And we're going to talk a lot about this scholarship and a lot of things that you need to know. Welcome. Glow King, welcome. So I'm just going to start with the topic for today. And as you can see from the title, we're going to be having our Q&A on the GCUB, which is an international mobility scholarship for people who want to study doing their master's and doctorate degree in Brazil. So the results came out on the 16th of October, and a lot of people who had watched my videos, my previous videos that I did about the scholarship, and they had to apply for that. And after they applied for that, many of them came my into my DMs, sending me messages, thanking me that they got the scholarship. So before I want to start, congratulations to all those who got the scholarship, and even for prospective students that will apply for the coming years. We're going to talk about everything that you need to know from after you get your acceptance letter to the visa processing, to housing, to cost of living, to work, and everything that you need to know about that. While you're watching me as well, if you have any questions that you want to ask about this program, you can leave it in the comment section. So we're going to do it section by section. And after that, we're going to get more questions from you. So I have a couple of questions here that I got from people who got the scholarship, and I've written everything down. We're going to answer all of them during this session. And the good news is that in this session, we're going to be having a guest who is currently doing his PhD program through this route, okay? Through this program. So he has a lot of experience about this. And today he's going to be our guest, and he's going to be here to answer all the necessary questions that you need about this program, okay? So I am the host, George Mills, and we're going to welcome a guest who will come on here, and he'll do a little bit introduction before we get started. All right. Hello. Good afternoon.
Okay, it's a pleasure. Good afternoon, everyone.
Here is our guest. And before we start with the question and answer session, he's going to introduce himself. All right.
Okay. Okay, I should go ahead, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael, and Michael Bolanwa, and my name on YouTube is Glow King. I'm a PhD student at the Department of Cell Biology and Genetics. I'm currently doing a PhD. My research focus is on malaria here at the Federal University of Pará, here in Brazil. So I think it is important that I had to my introduction that I'm a GCUB scholar.
Thank you for joining my live stream today. And we're going to learn a lot from you because you already have this experience with this program. And we're going to have a couple of questions that we're going to ask you, and we would like to know from you. So welcome again. And I'll be calling him Dr. Mike for today because he's doing his PhD program. All right, so I'll just go straight ahead with the questions and start with the acceptance letter. What happens after you receive their acceptance letter? Is it done electronically, or is it posted out?
So thank you, Mills, for the question. So basically, once you get your acceptance letter, the first thing you will do is to start preparing. However, it will be stated in the acceptance letter when you are expected to be in Brazil. Okay, it will be stated in the acceptance letter when you are expected to be in the school. But the moment you get your acceptance letter, you can start processing your visa.
Okay. So you don't need the hard copy. Everything is done electronically, right?
Yeah, there's going to be a need for you to print it out because by the time you're about to apply for your visa, it's part of the document you have to submit. So there will definitely be need for you to print it out.
All right. I
But,
also
but
learned
the
that
school, okay, the school is going to
sorry.
send an electronic copy to you. And once you get the mail, you just print it out, then proceed to the next step.
All right. Okay, I also wanted to ask, like, I don't know, I'm asking from you. While you're applying from the scholarship, is it only one, like one choice, or you have like many different choices that you need to? How many schools can you apply at once for this program?
Okay, so basically, when you're applying for GCUB, you have five different options, right? So what
Yes.
I did when I was doing my application was that I tried to do a little research about the universities in Brazil that offers the course that I want to study. So there are different universities in Brazil that offers genetics, molecular biology, biotechnology. So what I did was to try and do a little background check to see the one that are offering it. Then, having done that, I also try to check for the quality of the research work that they are doing in these universities. So basically, you have opportunity to pick five different universities in Brazil. So then you can decide to specify the course you want to do in the different universities.
All right. So in this case, for example, if you're taking for all the five different universities that you apply to, do you have to cancel? Do you have to choose one and cancel the other contracts, or do you have to go ahead to like? Is there a time that is given for you to choose only one school and cancel the rest, or
So even though you have the option to choose five different schools, there's no way the five schools will pick you. So I believe there's a central regulation system that GCUB, the scholarship body itself, have. So by the time before they release the result, they will check the schools that you applied for, just in case some of maybe more than one person showed interest in your application. So they're going to do a kind of regulation such that by the time they're going to get the results, it is just one school that you will see that is accepting you.
okay? So it's like a joint general system that would choose like one
Exactly,
school.
exactly. They have like
All
an
right.
internal control system to checkmate just in case to be sure that student is not having more than one school.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So this one is completely different from like other countries, like some European countries. After you have this option, then they'll give you like a week or two to choose the favorite one that you want to choose, and you cancel the other ones. The
Yeah,
other
it's
ones.
quite
All right.
different. Right.
Good. All right. Now, there's something that I don't know if there's a difference that I learned from some people that were sending me messages. There's something called some people call it acceptance letter, and then there's something called contract. Is it the same thing?
Okay, no, they are not the same thing. We have to contract is different from the acceptance letter. The contract is what you are signing is the term of agreement you are signing with the scholarship body, and the acceptance letter is coming from the school that chose you. So basically, what happened is that the GCB itself as a body, they select students, then they hand them over to the school, right? Meanwhile, your contract is going to be between GCUB body, the body of the scholarship itself, while the acceptance letter is going to come from the school. So when I got my admission, when I got my acceptance letter, it was from the school, but the contract was with GCUB. So in each school too, each school also have someone you call GCUB coordinator, just like a representative in each different school, in different school.
All right. So thank you for that. So after there, you get your acceptance letter and your contract signed. The next thing that you have to do after is to apply for the visa, right?
Yes, to start processing your visa. Once you get your acceptance letter, you can start communicating with the school. You can start processing your visa, and you can start getting yourself ready, basically.
Okay. So, Ifeanyi, welcome to the live stream. I think he asked their question. He said, how was he able to do all that background search on their website since it's in Portuguese? Now, the website, there's one of my videos that I did in the past about this program. I think the second edition, which is this edition, and there I showed you how you can translate it in English. It is in 3 different languages. If you look at the website, you look at the top right, you're going to see three languages there, 3 flags. You have the Spanish flag, the Brazilian flag, and you have like the UK flag. So those are the 3 languages for the program. All of them, you can do that. There's another thing that I always say. You can always translate the page to English. I don't know if you have that setting as well. You can set your Google page to translate to English. So, but then the main website of this program has 3 different languages. It could be in Spanish, in Portuguese, or English. Okay, sure. All right. Now when you get all of this, the next thing you have to do is to apply for your visa. So we're going to go to that sector of visa. Now, for the visa, I have a series of questions I'm going to ask. Now, let's go to the visa part.
Okay.
Let's start with the first one. While applying for your visa, what will be the main requirements for a student visa?
So basically, when you're going to apply, when you're about to apply for your visa, what you need is number one, of course, your passport, then the acceptance letter. Then you can now, depending on the country you're coming from. For example, if you're coming from Nigeria, you can get your passport, your acceptance letter, police report, then proof of funds. That's proof of fund is just like we all know what proof of fund is, but it's not necessarily the way it used to be, what we know about proof of funds, like if you're going to UK. So it could be just like a statement of account from someone, or even from yourself. So
Okay,
basically, these are
so
the
like for the
things that
proof
you
of
need.
fund, those are the main things that you need. So I wanted to ask something. Many people have been asking me these questions in the past about the tourist visa, right? Like, how much should they always ask me this question? Like, after my their videos, like when it comes to proof of funds, what do we estimate? Maybe you can put in reals or dollars, an estimate for a single person who wants to go on tourist. But this one, we're talking about student visa, and this is already a scholarship that covers a lot of things. I'm going to ask you later. And this scholarship, many things are already taken into place, like the tuition, and you have monthly stipend, and all those things, right? So, how much can be an estimate for the proof of funds?
So basically, the consular office they weren't stringent about the proof of fund. in all honesty. They were very stringent. So I believe that if you are even having like 1 million, at least 1 million, I think it's enough. Like,
$3,000 or
no, if you're having like 6,000 EIs in your account, it's enough. So since everyone is coming, since people that are connected to this live show, we are talking about Brazil. So I'm trying to use the Brazil currency to try and calculate at least what is needed. So if you have 6,000 EIs, it's enough for your proof of fund.
So now the next thing I want to ask about the visa is language proficiency, because there are three different languages for this program. You have Spanish, Portuguese, and English, right? And
Yes.
I think one person sent me a message that he actually applied for this program, but he was taking for a program that is in Portuguese. But he is a native English speaker. So in that case, where you have Portuguese or Spanish, or English, do you need to prove any language proficiency?
Okay, so basically, for example, I applied from an English-speaking country. I applied from Nigeria, and
Yes.
the major language we speak is English. But okay, and in when you're applying for GCUB, you can either apply with English, with Portuguese, or with Spanish. Or yes, but once you get to Brazil, the mode of instruction is going to be in Portuguese. And one thing I've noticed is that the lecturers are very flexible. You could tell them that, okay, I'm a learner, I don't understand Portuguese. Is it possible you give me slides of one of your of the classes so that I can translate them? When it is time for exam, you can also try to talk to your coordinator or your lecturer and to ask them if it is possible for you to be assessed in your local language. But basically, the general mode of instruction, the general language for instruction in Brazil is Portuguese.
All right. Now, I believe that you came in for the first edition, right? You came in
Sorry?
for the you came in through the first edition of their GCUB, right?
Exactly. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Now, if you watch my updated video for the second edition of the GCUB program, they made it a little bit explicit, and I think I did a video on that for the second edition, and there they made it easier for people to apply. One thing, they listed all the universities, which is easy for you to easily access the universities, unlike the first edition where you had to just search for the universities. Only the logos were there for the first edition, but for the second edition they had to list out all the universities that had this scholarship, as well as the language of instruction. I did it in the video. I'm going to leave the link in the description section after the live stream. You're going to see where you see the different modes of the languages, like Portuguese, English, or Spanish. So it's left for you to choose the language that you can easily do. Although I also learned from another person who is in a regular university who engaged into a nursing program that was all in English, but when she got to the second level, she had one course that was all in Portuguese. And because of that course, she had to stop because she tried this route of like trying to translate or get the English part of it, but it couldn't work out, right? So it's also very, very important, just like he said, it's good originally to apply for the one that is like 100% in English, although you can have one or two programs that will be in Portuguese from their English program. All right. So my question that I was asking was that during your visa processing, do you need to prove any language proficiency? Like, for example, if I study, if my program is in Portuguese, Do I have to prove a certificate to know that to prove that I can speak Portuguese? Or if my program is in English, do I have to prove any English proficiency? No. Yes or no? Do you need any certificate like IELTS to prove your language at their embassy? Said, I was thinking probably anyone coming in through this route would be automatically enrolled in like 3 to 4 months Portuguese language before proceeding for lectures. All right, so that's also a good one. If you know you're going to be enroll into this program that you need to put it in Portuguese, it is very, very important for you to start learning. There are a lot of resources out there that you can follow up to learn basic Portuguese and so on before you get in. All right. So as I was saying, for the visa level, so you don't need to prove any language. All what you need is your acceptance letter. So for anybody who is asking about their language proficiency, you don't need to prove it at the embassy level. All right. Now, the next one I'm going to talk about is for people who want to come in with their family. So I'm going to talk about if you're not coming alone, because most people want to come in with their family, right? Maybe with their spouse and their kids. And while you're coming in, um, how do you do it? How do you apply for the? You can apply all at the same time, right? As a family. Also said he should tell us about his settling in Brazil and in his view and how he's enjoying it. Don't worry about that. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. All right. So we're just going to go step by step. Once we reach that level, I've taken note of the question. I'm going to ask him about that. All right. What he thinks. Okay. So I think for the dependents, visa, you can apply all at the same time. You can apply at the same time. So, but in this case, while you're getting your acceptance letter or your contract, if you have a family, is very, very important for you to let your university include your family members into it. All right. So while you're applying for the visa, all of you can apply at once. And when you're applying, it's not a joint application. It's going to be a separate application for everybody in the family, but then it's going to be under the same category. Okay? All right. And also, it is very, very important if you think that you want to go first before your family, you can actually do that. You can apply for your visa alone. And then when you reach Brazil and you must have settled down in a little bit, anytime that you want your dependents to meet you, they can always join you. In that case, you're going to apply for family reunion visa in that case, so that your family back home can join you. Okay. There is also somebody who is asking like, which other documents do you suggest? He's going to join later. Which other documents do you suggest that I should have handing while applying for my visa? So I think the major ones which he said, he has stated them already. The most important ones, like he has already done that already. He spoke about the acceptance letter. He spoke about the acceptance letter, your passport, your flight reservation. And I've also done a video about student visa. I'm going to leave the link in the description section. All right. Please, we need a little bit of clarification as regards the proof of funds. Is it the 1 million that will be in your account for the period of how many months? Normally, when it comes to student visa, that is for 2 years plus. Normally, they always want to see that you have enough money that can take you for at least the first year. So each country has the amount that they always give out. Now we all know that this is a scholarship program that also has some money that they give as the monthly stipend, right? So you don't really need to prove too much for the proof of funds. If you're alone, the 1 million he's talking about is 1 million naira. 1 million naira, I think, is equivalent to about $2,500 or $2,000 or so. Equivalent. And it's equivalent to 6,000 here. 6,000 also. 6,000 to 10,000 real. And again, Salam, you said, should it be in their account for a long period of how many months? Normally, they always want you to do a bank statement of 3 months, back. All right. So you have to make sure the money is in your account like 3 months. Even if it's not like the same amount of money, make sure there's a reasonable amount of money in your account, like 3 months to prior the time you want to apply for your visa. It's very, very important. Okay, because you don't want to put a huge amount of money towards the time when you want to apply for your visa. Also, if you're going as a family, you also have to make sure the money is more. Okay. After the nomination of the welcome to live stream, Usman. After the nomination for the scholarship, do we still or be needing a proof of funds at the embassy stage? Yes, of course, because the monthly stipend that you're going to be having is not going to be enough for you to cover your feeding and all of that. So you need to prove that you have money that can cover your feeding and other things. And I think also accommodation. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Okay? So you need to prove. You need to prove that you have money, but not too much. Okay? Now, welcome back.
Okay, yeah, thank you for. I'm very sorry for the. I have to change my network.
No worries. Okay, so we're going to go to the next part here, which is talking about how long does it take to process the student visa?
Usually, one beautiful thing about the visa is that GCUB, the scholarship body itself, they're going to send like a pre-approved visa to the visa consular, to the consular office of your country. So just to expedite, just to make it faster. So within the space of 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to get your visa. Unlike the
Wow,
conventional, yes, unlike the conventional visa application that could take like 2 3 months, this one within the space of 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to get your visa.
yeah. All right. Welcome to live stream, Baba JD. GD. Baba GD. All right. So now you can hear from him. He said 2 to 3 weeks. And I want to say something. That was in 2000. I think he came in 2022. Then Brazil visa as a whole was the processing time was really short. Like the tourist visa, you could have it in a week, and the student visa, you could have it in 2 weeks until the election time. Remember in October when there was an election, so things started slowing back, and the processing time now takes months. Okay, the processing time now takes months. Now, especially after the new president came in, because he needs a long time to readjust, to become stable. So a lot of things were on hold, all right? Especially their processing of the Brazil visa. And that is why normally this program always starts in October. Like the last time it started in October, ended in November, some or so. But this year they started it early in July because the ones like you have enough time to apply for your visa. Because now the processing time takes about 2 to 4 months. 2 to 4 months. But if you have everything in place and all your documents are intact, I think it's going to take a lesser time, maybe yeah, 2 to 3 weeks. and it's going to be out. It also depends on the embassy where you're applying from. Okay, most of the embassies in Africa is being delayed. Okay, and I also want to say something. This program, we're talking about this because looking at the results from this program, I noticed that many people from Africa have this scholarship, but since it's the second edition, many people don't know what to do. That's why we're doing this video. So even for people who are going to watch this video after, even without the scholarship or without this program, it is going to help you for the next edition because it's going to be the same procedure. All right. So that's it. So it can take between 2 to 3 months, but depending on the location of where the embassy is in, it could take a lesser time. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to ask is about when you are giving the visa, how long is a visa valid for? How
Okay,
long is a
so the
student?
visa. Oh yeah, so it's a student visa and it's valid for 1 year. When I got there, I can now change it to 4 years.
Okay, that's right.
So
Okay, now
at the point when I was given the visa, it was 1 year, one full year.
1 year. 1 year multiple entry, 1 year multiple
Yes,
entry. And the 1 year multiple entry, it means that there's a validity of 1 year. It means you
yeah,
need to get into Brazil before 1 year elapses, right? And also,
exactly.
it's very, very important. Maybe if one or two things come up that you're not able to travel on time, you can also let the university know so that maybe you can take your courses online while preparing to come, right?
Yeah, yeah, and
And
you could also travel back, then come back to Brazil.
okay, that's a good one. Now, there's another thing. When you get the 1 year and you get inside here, then you can apply for your residency permit. Now, the resident permit is valid depending on the program which you applied for. For PhD program, like I said, how long was your validity?
It's 4 years.
Oh, you are given 4 years, but your program is 3 years, right?
So the resident permit, I was given 1 year, but my dependents
Yes.
were given 4 years. So me being the principal applicant, there's a need for me to be going there yearly to renew it. But my dependents were given 4 years. Like my wife and my kids, they were given 4 years. But me being the principal applicant, I was given 1 year. So I'm going to be going back there yearly to renew it, to renew my home
Okay.
alone.
That's another thing. It's very, very important. And the reason for this one is because they know that when they give the principal person 4 years, maybe the person will come in and also do what? The person might just not want to study. So every year you need to go renew it to make sure you're actually studying. So you also have to take that into consideration. Your dependents will have 4 years, but you will have temporal 1 year and 1 year like that. So what does it mean? 3 years of school, but there's an extra 1 year, right? Means there's an
Yes,
extra
exactly.
1 year after you study.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because some people were asking, do you have like a visa extension after your visa? So that's it. They give you extra 1 year.
Exactly.
Okay. Good evening, Jerry. A quick question. How easy is it to learn the Portuguese language? Okay, we're gonna come to that later. All right. Now, that's it about the visa. If you have any questions about the visa, you can drop it again in the chat section so that we can go to the next topic. All right. So, we're going to go now to the next topic, which is accommodation. Accommodation.
Okay, so
Now, when we talk about
well,
accommodation, yeah.
okay, so in Brazil there are different types of accommodation
Yes.
and different types of accommodation that could suit your pockets, right? It is important that I mention first that the school does not have hostel. So, but there are different types of accommodation depending on your pocket size. We have what we call condominium, we have what we call kitchenettes, and we have what we call normal casa, normal house, right? So depending on your pockets, you can decide to go for condominium, you can look for a kitchenette. Even within a condominium, you can still see a kitchenette, and you could also see a kitchenette outside. So there are different accommodation that is in Brazil, right? But and also there are some accommodations that already have what we call mobilities. They already have the furnitures, they have the cooking stuff, just for you to move in and start living your life.
All right. So okay, that's a good one. So you know the different types of accommodation. Now let's get to this part now about the money, because there was somebody that was trying to ask about does their monthly stipend, because this scholarship has a monthly stipend. And some people, oh, I think the people who have the contract, they already know about the amount. I want to ask now so that prospective students will be able to know the amount for the monthly stipend. What is the average amount that is given every year for the monthly stipend?
Every year or monthly.
Ah, it's given monthly, but I think they
Okay,
give it one time for the whole year.
okay, so it's the stipend is given monthly, and if you are doing a master, if you are studying for master degree, you're going to be given 2,100 years. If you are doing a
Every
PhD,
month.
you're going to be doing for a month. You're going to be given 2,100 years. Okay, sorry.
Okay,
Don't let
cool.
me pronounce the reais like Portuguese people. Reais. You're going to be given
Yeah,
2,100 reais.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. But if you are doing a PhD, you're going to be getting 3,500 reais monthly.
Oh, then that's cool, because I learned from the last scholarship. I think somebody told me, the person told me it was good, is that's yearly, and the person said that his contract, I don't know, maybe it depends on the school, or because this is a new regime with the new president, he increased the values for everything, being their salary, the lowest salary in Brazil has been increased. It used to be 1,000 before, but now it's 1,300. So I think he increased the prices for everything, which is good. But for the last program,
Yeah.
I
So
think it was,
after the inception of okay, after the inception of Lula, President Lula, I think
yes.
the stipend was increased. So I think it used to be 2,100 for PhD before, then 1,500 for masters. But right now it is 2,100 for masters. Then with between 3,1 to 3,500 for PhD.
Okay. All right, but that's a reasonable amount, because somebody was telling me like $1,200 for the entire year, which is about 6,000 real for the entire year. So the people they were confused, like, okay, so if it's 6,000 real for the entire year, it therefore means that every month is just 500 real. Okay, but now you can hear the prices clearly. So for those who want to study next
Yeah.
year, if you are doing the master's program, then you get 2,100 reals every month. That's a reasonable amount, all right, for workers in Brazil. And if you're doing your PhD program, you get 3,000.
100 to 3,500.
Okay, 3,100 to 3,500 every month. That
Every
is
month.
the reason I asked about this one, is because of the accommodation. Because somebody said, is the accommodation added into their monthly stipend? But no, this one is just given, is up to you to know how to manage your money, depending on you. Now, there's something I want to ask from or somebody. Somebody said, does the host university offer accommodation for students?
Okay, like I mentioned earlier, the host university doesn't provide accommodation. As far as I know, using my own university as from my knowledge from this university I am right now, and my other colleagues that are also GCUB recipients, I don't think well, most of the universities in Brazil don't have accommodation, right? However, there are some that have, but it's usually competitive. So, before you even before you even get to Brazil, it will have been filled up. So, with the money, with the stipend, you can get a very good accommodation and you can also live fine.
That's right.
I believe.
Okay, so yeah, I want to add some. I want to tell some people as well for this one. Now, um, for the accommodation, normally when you're getting into Brazil, is very important because it's really difficult most of the time to get accommodation without getting your CPF. You need your CPF or you need your resident permit for you to get accommodation. So most of the times, I always recommend this popular website called www.airbnb.com. There, if you're a single person, it's even good because you can get a shared apartment just for a few days, maybe a week or two, because some of them are expensive, some of them are cheap. So it depends on what you want to choose. If you're a single person, maybe you can find a hotel or you can find a shared apartment, means that you share the parlor, the living room, the kitchen, and the bathroom, but you have individual bedrooms. All right. So you can do that. You can take maybe a week or maybe a few days, depending on how much money you have. And then when you get inside Brazil and you finish up with your CPF and with your resident permit, then you can go in for that. Okay, you can go in for your accommodation. All right. Now another thing I want to ask you about accommodation is the prices of accommodation. How are the prices?
Okay, so the prices of accommodation ranges from 500 reais to 800 reais if it is a kitchenette. But if you are coming with your family, a kitchenette might not be comfortable for you. You might want to go for something bigger, like you going for a condominium. And like I mentioned earlier too, most of the condominium too are mobility. That they have mobility inside. They have the furnitures, they have the cooking utensils just for you to move in, and some of them have wardrobe just for you to move in and start living. So if it is kitchenette, the price ranges here in Para. The price ranges from 500 to 800 on average. If it is condominium, it ranges from 900 to 1,500, depending on the category of the house you are looking for. And if you're looking for a shared apartment, you can get as low as 400, 500. The average is just 800 for a shared apartment. But you can also look for, if you can also look for like a two-room apartment that could be within the range of 800, 750.
Okay.
Now,
Wow, that's nice. That's
yeah,
nice.
it
If you
now
come to,
depends
if
on
you come
how
to, okay.
it now depends on the proximity of your house to the school. Most of the houses that are very close to school are kind of expensive compared to those ones that are a little bit far away.
Okay, yeah, because this is a very good one. And now you need to also be careful that you need to also take note that it depends on their state as well. Bigger states like Rio, Sao Paulo are very, very expensive. You'll be getting like 900, 1,000, except you get a shared apartment, just like you said, then you can get like 600, 500, right? So he's in Belém, right? Belém, the north of Brazil. So somebody here asked me before we continue, Jerry King, welcome to live stream. Please, as we get into the live stream, please like the video and so that we get going. All right. Now said, good evening. I want to ask a question. I missed the last application phase for this year. Any idea when the next batch will be? I think they're going to launch the next batch after
Next year.
their part of this session, which is going to start next year. So all of this we're going to talk about is going to run until I think February, March, when this batch will get into that. So maybe July again, they're going to start a new session. But as soon as I start it up, I'm going to announce it here. And Salam is asking about the CPF, we should mention. CPF is just like a tax registration number, which is equivalent to the SSN or the Social Security number in other countries, which registers you in the system, and you require this particular number to do every activity in Brazil. And this is very, very important because it's for security purpose. Anything that you want to do to renting, to buying stuff, and to doing opening accounts and doing a lot of things, you need to get a CPF because everything is going to be registered inside. All right. So it's very, very easy to trace your information using your CPF number. You can do it once you're in Brazil, or you can apply at the same time you're applying for your student visa. You can also do it in the embassy, at the embassy. Okay. So you can apply for that as well. I've done the video about CPF. I'm going to leave it also in the description section after the live stream. Okay. Now, still on accommodation. Is there any question about accommodation?
Is there anyone?
Somebody says here that where was he renewing his visa? At the federal police station. You renew your visa. Ifani said, where do you renew your visa every year?
Oh, okay, okay.
Can you hear
If
me?
you want to renew your visa, you have to contact your the depending on the country you're coming from. I believe each country they have their like the ambassador office at Brasilia. For instance, Nigeria they have their own office at Brasilia. So if you want to renew your passport, you can just contact them, and there will be need for you to go there when it is time for data capturing.
Now, what you're renewing, is it your resident permit or the visa?
Oh, I thought you were asking question about renewal of visa.
Yeah, every year. Yeah,
Oh,
your
if you
permit.
want, oh,
You
if you want
renew your
to
permit every year.
permit, okay, if you want to renew your permit, you have to go to the Policia Federal. Okay,
Okay.
that's where you are going to renew the
And
permit. I thought you
do
were
you have
talking
to give
about
the same
expired.
document?
Sorry.
Do you have to give the same documents that you gave originally, or do you have
Okay.
to give the same documents that you gave
Okay,
originally?
if you want to renew your stay, okay, there will be need for you to go there with your initial documents. But I don't think
Okay,
there's any new, just for you to do the agendamento online, then go to their office.
All right. Another vital thing I want to ask: do you have to show the criminal record
Okay.
certificate?
Okay, so for people, the issue of criminal record is a little bit, it's somehow because when I was coming, I presented it as part of my document. But upon getting to Brazil, there was no need for it. Okay,
There's
so
no need for it.
there is no need for it. It actually saved me, because I got information earlier. It saved me because I could have renewed mine. The first one I got from Nigeria expired. Okay, I could have renewed it before coming, but I got information that it is not necessary, so I didn't bother to renew. But
Okay.
at the point of applying for visa, it was still valid. But when I was coming, I was thinking it was supposed to be valid, but I was told it is not necessary, so I didn't bother to renew it.
All right. So I think this is the case of temporary residency, right? This is the case of temporary residency. When you have permanent residents, that's when the focus more on the criminal record, which you have to show. All right. Okay. So somebody is talking here about accommodations too. Is there how far are most accommodations to the campuses and the expected transportation fare?
Okay, so there's
Is
a
it easy?
general. Okay, I'm gonna use the state I am right now as a point of contact to other states now. I wouldn't know how it is anyway in other states, but right here in Para, there is a general, like if you are going from here, irrespective of how far you are going to, you are going to pay the same amount. Okay, take for instance, I'm going from the beginning of the state, I mean, of this town where I am to the end of the town, I'm going to pay the same 4 years. And somebody that's going to stop in the middle is going to pay 4 years. But as a student, it has been slashed. Instead of you to pay 4, you're going to pay 2. But there's a need for you to show a card called Passe Facile.
Okay. All right. So you need to show a card as a student, right?
Exactly.
All right. So that's a good one. Now I want to ask before we continue, because the program that I'm talking about, this program is what I read from the main website, right?
Okay.
And he is actually experiencing it right now, and he has the greater experience from this, right? So I want to talk about this contract as a whole. Now it gives you free access. Do you have food from school? Do you have like free Portuguese classes, right?
Okay, so yeah, the school made arrangement for free Portuguese classes. Just make yourself available, right? And talking about lunch, the school also provide lunch too. The food is actually served from around in my school. The food starts they start serving the kitchen. They start serving from around 10 a.m. in the morning till around 4 p.m. So you can walk in there to, you just, in my school, you pay 1 reais. In some other schools, you pay 2 reais. But in UFPA, in UFPA, you're going to pay 1 reais, which is just like a very, very, one of the smallest amounts, you know. So
Okay.
it's very, very cheap.
Yeah, that's very good. And there's something I want to say. If you're coming as a family as well, when you come in, your kids can also go to public schools. You can enroll
Yes.
your kids into public schools, which is free. Okay. And they also have lunch and all those things. Now, when it
Exactly.
comes to this Portuguese language, is very, very important for you to study because normally all the public universities in Brazil are free, but the Portuguese classes are not free. Portuguese classes, you pay for it. So this is a very good scholarship as well for people who are studying. And it's very important for you to take note because it's going to help you after your studies. Okay. So now let's go to the next area, which is he said, in reality, the stipend will not given to the master student will not be enough to cater for the dependents, and mostly, especially if you have two kids. So, can you get a job
Okay.
on this
Okay.
scholarship program?
Okay, one of the clauses in the contract that you will sign from GCUB is that you will not work. Okay, but there
Okay.
are that's one of the clauses, and in as much you've signed it, I know that as student you might want to look for ways to, augment the stipends, but the only job you can easily get, let me use the word easily get, is teaching job. Okay, there's some other jobs that you can apply for online that you can actually get, but the one that you can easily get is the teaching job, and that one you can apply for it online. But most of them, they want you to have been
All
in
right.
Brazil.
Okay, so Salam, did you get that? So that's it. So if you're under this particular scholarship program, you're not supposed to work because of that amount of money that you get every month. If you're going to have dependents, then you're going to, the scholarship is only for you. It's not as a dependent. You apply the loan, so the money is only for you. So if you have dependents that you want them to come over, and the 3,100 is just more than enough for one person. So if you're coming now with
And
dependents, you're not supposed to work. And if you want
yes.
to work, then you can become a self-employed person. And to become a self-employed, then you can teach remotely. Those are the jobs that are easy, remotely, or you can do customer service as well remotely. But you'll be needing another the self-employed business registration, which is the CN PG, right? I've done the video about that as well.
So I
You
think,
need that.
yeah, I think it's okay. I think it is important for me to add that if you are coming with a family and you're a master student and you feel that the 2,100 reais will not be enough, you can actually apply for the family bolsa. The people can go and look at the video you made about the family bolsa, how to apply for it. You can actually apply
Thank you.
even as a student in Brazil. You can apply for family bolsa to support the
Correct.
family.
Thank you. So I also answered this one. Thank you for this pointing out this one, because it has also answered one of the questions that someone asked me about the family goals. I've also done a video about that. I'll leave it in the description section after the live video. So for the family bolster, somebody asked me, those with permanent residency, can they apply for the family bolster? So good. Not only those with permanent residency, those with temporary residency can still apply for family bolster as well. Okay. Is after studies. Let's talk about after studies. Now, after studies, in some odd, okay, before we get there, I want to ask this question as well. Can your dependent work?
Yes, your
Can your
dependents can
dependent?
work. Officially,
Okay.
officially your dependents can
Okay.
work, but you as the principal, you are not permitted to work officially.
Okay. So officially, your dependent can work as well. So full time, is it full time or part time?
Full time, depending on the kind of job you see, you can apply for. You, the principal, you are the one that is not permitted to work
Only
officially.
you. So everything is on you. So, but your dependent can work. So if you're coming in, the other person can work full time, and you without that. So now the next thing I want to talk about is generally, before I go to talk about studies, I think there's somebody who asked the question. Jerry asked the question like, oh, it's Ifani, I forgot, right? So this person asked a question like, as a whole, how are you enjoying Brazil as a whole? Your studies and everything, and how your studies are going. Is it
Sorry,
okay for
can
you?
you recast the question? I didn't get it. Can you ask again?
All right. So I'm saying that there's somebody who asked, I don't know if it's Ifani or Jerry, he asked the question that how is your life in Brazil as a student? Is it going on well? How are you enjoying it?
Okay, so in all reality, I'm enjoying it, but I'm missing the part where, okay, maybe from my experience in Nigeria, where everything is just too smooth. Like nobody's chasing you, nobody's on your neck, do this, do that. So you're just given the freedom to do anything you want to do. And everything is just, so it's kind of strange to me, right? So, when something is too soft for you and you've been used to one kind of lifestyle before, and you're now trying to adapt to a very kind of softer lifestyle, it's kind of
Yes.
strange. So, everything is going well. Everything is going well. And
All
one
right.
thing about Brazilian that is worthy of note is that they can go extra mile to see that you are helped. They can go extra mile to help you, to assist you, especially when they notice that you can't speak Portuguese. They can help you, they can leave what they are doing. And like when I was going to do my boss card, the Passe Facile, I just met a man that, please, can you direct me to where this place is? just like the local government. The man was selling stuff. He left his lodger, he left his shop, and was helping me to look for boss. He didn't leave me until I found boss. So they
Wow.
are very willing to help to assist people. So life in Brazil in general is beautiful, to be honest.
Okay. Life in Brazil is good. All right, talking again about the bus. Somebody left a comment about transportation that you said about 4 reals for the bus ticket. Is it pay ride or is it one way or both ways?
It's parade.
Ah, it's pay ride. Okay. Hey, and there's something I want to tell you. The very first experience I had with the bus, I want to tell you something. But I don't know, but this is it. Now with the bus, I remember when we're living in the north, and we moved to the center part, right?
Okay.
And I didn't change my address online, so I bought something online, and it went to the old address.
Oh
So
my
the old
God.
address was in the north, and it's very far. Using the Uber, I'll spend about 50 reals for one ride. So I had to use the bus for my very first time. So when we used the bus, we got into the bus. I don't have the bus card, nothing. I didn't know how they pay for their. Normally, you're supposed to have cash. When you want to get into the bus, you should have cash. All right. So we got into the bus, and when we reached, we wanted to pay with Pix because here in Brazil, you can pay with your card. Even if it's just 4 real, you can use your ATM card to pay for that. Okay. Even if it's 1 real, you can use your Pix to transfer it online. So
Exactly.
that's because of security as well. So when we reached where we reached, and we asked like how much? We said 4 real. We wanted to send through Pix, and the bus conductor was so mad. So he said we should go. So when we went out, I think the people in charge of the bus station, they told us that if you are moving from one station to another, it's free. You don't need to, it's not necessary for you to pay. So that's what they told us. And that's how we came until we reached my place free. We didn't pay. So we're just moving from
Yeah,
one
I've had
to the other.
similar experiences too. For instance, the bus that brought me to school today, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have any cash with me, and there was no way I could do pics inside the bus. So if you don't have any money with you, you can still enter the bus without say you don't even have to say anything, right? So when I entered the bus today, that usually when you enter the bus, there is a barricade where the conductor will be, and he will be rotating the barricade. So when I entered the bus today, I didn't even bother to tell him because there was no cash on me. My plan was to get to school and get some cash, right? So when I entered the bus today, I knew there was no money. So if you don't have money, there's a place you can sit down, right?
Yes.
And just that you shouldn't be doing it always, even when you have money. Okay, it's not good to abuse it. So if you don't have money, you can still enter the bus and go to anywhere within the state. You
Yes.
can go to fro, but it's not just good to abuse it.
That's right. That's right. So that day I was so shocked. Like we just came free. We just got in because we didn't have cash. Like because of that. All right. So, but it's very important as a student. It's good for you to have the bus card and like that. All right. So I also want to ask, like, what do you think will be an average monthly cost for a family? For a family of three, family of four
Okay,
in
so an
Brazil.
average an average cost for a family of four. Okay,
Cost
talking
of
about the
living, yeah.
grocery, excluding the house rent, uh, around 700 reais. 700
Okay.
reais monthly,
Okay, about
excluding
700
excluding
reais.
yes, excluding the house rent. That is a family of four.
Oh, for a family of four. Okay.
Yes.
So,
So if you are the
Another
only
question
person,
here.
if you are the only person, you can be spending like 200, 250 buying
Yeah.
groceries monthly.
Yes. I remember when I was in Sao Paulo alone, I didn't really spend much then. So I really didn't spend much because I was alone. All right. Now, somebody's asking a question here. What is the mode of teaching in basic primary school for kids? Is it in English?
So there are different types of schools in Brazil. They are bilingual, and there are schools that are just basically Portuguese. If you want to, especially most of the government schools are purely Portuguese. So if you want a school that is bilingual that can teach maybe in Spanish, English, or Portuguese, it has to be a private school, right? So, but basically, generally for primary school that are government owned, they teach them in Portuguese.
Okay. Yeah, majority of the public schools here they teach in Portuguese, and there's also another thing. You can it's very difficult for you with a permanent residency to get a job in a public school because most of the times it's for I think the citizens of Brazil, the like in the public sector. For you to gain that right to work in the public sector, you have to be a Brazilian. All right. So except that the school is public and private together, then you can be hired in the private sector or to teach English. Right.
Okay.
So somebody is saying that okay, I saw it on Ireland when people were sharing about the experience in Brazil about bullying, stealing, and obtaining things from people the way we have it in Nigeria. So let's talk about the safety in Berlin. How is the safety?
Okay, one of the things I did when I was preparing to come to Brazil, as every Nigerian would do, is to do research. And our number one place, our surest place where we shall get information from is Naira Land. Naira Land is one of those places where I comb over and over again to get information, to scoop information from people that have been in Brazil. And in all honesty, since I've been here, I've not seen situation where a police is chasing someone over a crime. I've not seen any. No, the person that has written about crimes concerning Brazil, because there's this popular belief that there is too much of crime in Brazil. I don't, maybe it was the person's experience as at then, but right now, look like there's a great reform that is happening in Brazil. So since I've been in Brazil, I've not seen any bullying. People that are even willing to assist you, how would they be bullying you? Brazil can go to 99 to assist you. They can go to 99 to assist you. So how would they now bully you? So I've not experienced any form of bullying. Although there was one of the times I went to the Policia Federal, there was one man that I met there, one of the police, that was acting somehow. And, later on, my friend that we went there together told me that he doesn't know why he's acting like that Brazilians are not like that. And when we went there the second time, there was difference. Okay, so I've not experienced bullying in Brazil, and I've not seen people being bullied.
So also for me as well. So I think for me maybe it's just because I don't really go out very frequently or go out late at night or so. But I think I've strolled around my neighborhood in the night or at night, and I've done a lot of things for my 2 years I've been here. I'm not sure I've had any form of bullying or any form of stealing or shooting in front of me. Like I said, when I went to Rio, that's when I even saw like it depends on the state. So because when I went to Rio, that's when I even saw a form of like not actually like a shootout, but I saw police everywhere. But in Florianopolis in the south here, you never see that kind of situation, right? So for me as well, I've never really encountered any form of unsafety. Okay. All right. So now let's go to after studies. So after you studies, like in other countries, they always say that after you studies in some countries, they always have this work, post-work study period. Sorry, post-work period, post-study work period, where you after studies they give you some time to look for a job and so on. So do you have like that here, or after your studies you can apply for permanent residence, or how does it work? Or you have to return
Okay.
back home?
Okay, so it is well stated in the scholarship agreement that once you are done with your study, you are expected to go back to your country. However, there is another clause to it that if you are doing a PhD and you are done with your study, you can you can be permitted to stay by, to wait if you get a postdoc opportunity. So basically, a postdoc is also a job in Brazil. So if you before you finish your PhD, wisdom wisdom will be not. I mean, it is wisdom for you to start looking for. If you really want to stay by, you have to start looking for something else. So, however, GCUB stated in the contract that once you are done with your study, you are expected to go back to your home country.
Yeah. There's another thing I want to also state out, which is a very good thing about Brazil. While I was doing my research about the permanent residency, and the part like the normally you have to be on your temporary residency for 4 years, and then you apply for permanent residence, right? You qualify. If you have a temporary residence, like a student, normally you have a temporary residence. And if you reside here for 4 years continuously, then you can apply for permanent residence. And then another 4 years for ordinary, then you apply for citizenship. But there is something that I noticed, there are special cases, and scholars are also part of them, especially for those who are doing, I think, researchers, scientists, and scholars. They have 2 years. Sorry, 2 years. 2 years on instead of 4 years on your residency. You can apply for permanent residence. You can
Okay.
apply for permanent residence. I researched that. You can also try to research it after this. And if you stay 2 years, then you can apply after that. That's why this particular program is only for masters and PhD, because
Yes.
the scholarship program is mostly for masters and PhD. Because after the 2 years of masters, you can apply for permanent residence. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
and that is why it's also very important for you to learn your Portuguese. Use that advantage to study your Portuguese for free. And it is very, very good because you right now there are many ways of proving your proficiency, your Portuguese proficiency at the time of application for your permanent residence. In that case, you just need a certificate. You have to go to school for a period of time, Portuguese school, and then when you get the Portuguese certificate, you can use that to prove your proficiency at the level of permanent resident and at the level of citizenship. So you need to also take your Portuguese classes very, very serious. Okay, it's very, very important because you can get a permanent resident after that. And
Exactly.
also, family people, if you have an addition to your family during your studies, like maybe if you have a child during your studies, then you can switch your residency from
Uh-huh.
temporal to permanent as well. If you have a child, if you're a single person and during your studies you get engaged to a Brazilian and you get married, then you can also switch to the permanent residency.
There is even a warning I said I was going to mention here, especially for those people that are not married. And I hope I wouldn't know, maybe my wife is watching, but there is a warning. If you are not married as a guy, if you are not married and you are planning to come to Brazil, I would advise you to marry because you might not go back unmarried.
Yeah, Brazil women are beautiful. Come on.
Okay.
Brazilian women are beautiful. Yeah, okay. There's somebody who has a question here. Can you provide us a company for doing insurance and accommodation near Sorocaba? Now, like I said, I've said it before. There's a website for accommodation that you can use. It's called www.airbnb.com. Uh, Maybe I'll comment somewhere here, www.airbnb.com. And you can use that website for your accommodation. You can book a temporal accommodation. And I'm going to send it in the chat section there.
They could also use OLX.
Yeah, that's it in the chat section. You can use the airbnb.com, and then you book for a short period of time, because some of them are really expensive. Brazil, when it comes to housing, it depends on the season as well. It's very, very important for you to know. December getting until after the carnival is a peak season, and during that time the prices are high, be it rental, be it hotel, and long stay, short stay, the prices are really high. So it's very important for you to know the peak season. So when you book it ahead of time, so that you get promotions. You can get like 1 week, 2 weeks, or maybe share apartment if going for what you want. And then when you get in here, you can use your CPF, which I stated earlier,
To
to
get a
apply
regular
for
accommodation.
after school. Yeah, in Brazil, when you get into Brazil, it's easier for you to get an accommodation, because you can easily search from Google. But maybe if you're in Africa or you're in Asia and you type it, you hardly get it. But when you're in Brazil, you just type like accommodation near me, you see a couple of them appear. So it's very important. Another thing that I want to talk about this after studies is that there is something still under this scholarship website, which is called exchange program. Many people around the world don't know about exchange program. Okay, exchange program, you can do that during your last year of studies, and this particular program has an exchange program. If you open the website, you will see a couple of universities that have there are partners with these universities that you can go there to study for your exchange program. That is another route that people use to go to other countries after
Exactly.
their studies. Okay,
Exactly.
not only in Brazil, but many other different countries, they always have what we call exchange programs. Now, in Brazil, you have a couple, this program has a couple of exchange programs all over the world. In North America, you have in Asia, you have in Africa still. So if you have plans of going back to Africa after your studies, you can look for a partner university and do an exchange program, and they're going to send all your grades transferred to that school. It's very possible. Or if you get work in that country, then you can continue there. Maybe Canada, USA, Africa, Asia. You can see it's on the website there. You can see all the partnered universities. So you can do the exchange program, but I am not sure if it's also going to be free. Maybe it is free only for this particular, because if you have to pay tuition, if they're partnered with this, maybe it's also going to be free. But I'm not sure about that. Okay. So you just check out. All right. So there's somebody says only public schools are free for kids, and English is not the mode of teaching. That's why public schools is Portuguese. It's only at the level of university that you have some courses or a few programs in English. All right. And so does that mean that a kid of 4 years old will have to say bye-bye to English and then be brought up with Portuguese? No, Salem. My son goes to a school, to a Portuguese school, where he speaks perfect English than Portuguese, because at home he speaks English, of course, and in school he speaks Portuguese. So
So I
that
think
that's
it's
very
important. Yeah, I think it's important for people to know that if you are bringing your kids who has been schooling, in an English school, maybe from Nigeria. If you're coming to Brazil, you also have some measure of work to do, right? So you're not just going to leave it to the government. So if the student is going to school and he or she is being taught in Portuguese, when he or she comes back home, you are going to teach the child in English. So there's a part of work for you to do as well.
Yeah. Okay. And they're not only Portuguese schools. If you have money, then you can let your child go to bilingual school.
Exactly.
Especially from 5 years and above, you can let them go to bilingual school. You can pay for hours. In Brazil here, you can pay for hours. You can let your child go to a public school during the morning session and a bilingual school in the afternoon session. That's the thing. That's another thing about Brazil. It's not like maybe in Africa where I come from, you stay in school for 8 hours, from maybe 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. or so, right? 8 hours, 9 hours. But here in Brazil, you can choose the period of time that you want to go. If you want to do morning session, you want to do afternoon session, it's up to you. And if you can split it. If you want them to go to public school in the morning, they can go, they will not pay. If you want afternoon, you can pay in a bilingual school. I think they pay per month. Per month,
exactly.
Depending on the hour. So, will you talk about the monthly scholarship result, please? Aisha, I think we were spoken about it, but I think Glocking, Dr. Mike is going to talk about. Can you just give us the figures again so that Aisha can be updated?
Okay, so I said if you are studying for master's degree, the amount for the stipend is 2,100 reais. But if you are doing your PhD, the amount is 3,100 to 3,500 reais.
A month.
Per month, monthly.
A month. So what you spoke about, like let's say you're earning 3,100 or 2,100. Let's say if you're alone, then you can be able to save a lot, right? Because you spoke about their monthly. Yeah, can be able to save at least 1,000. All right.
Because basically, if you are alone and you are getting 3,000, you can't spend more than 1,500.
Okay.
If you are spending if you are alone and you are spending 1,500, you are living a la vida local life. You are living like big. You are living big.
Okay. Yeah. So is it enough for living? That's what he's saying here, Aisha. If you're alone, then that's good. That's really good. The average salary of Brazil is 1,300 now. The lowest
1,312 exactly.
If I need good ratings, yeah. So if you have more questions, you can just leave in the chat section so we can answer now. It's open for any of the questions that you want to be clear about. You can leave it here. So for the person that was talking about the different languages that he applied, but his scholarship is in Spanish also. He said Spanish or Portuguese. So how is he going to do? So like I said, in that case, you don't need to prove any proficiency at the visa application level, but you need to study. Your study is going to be in Portuguese or it's going to be in English. All right. So, how can you really, like, the way that people have really talked about Brazil as a whole? What do you think? Is it the same way that you saw Brazil before coming to Brazil, and now is it the same experience? Is it the same way that you saw it?
Okay, so my orientation about Brazil has really changed. When I was coming, I was thinking, because of all this, because of all what we've been reading on the internet, that there's so much of crime in Brazil. But upon getting there, I've seen that Brazil is not like that. As a matter of fact, like someone that is coming from Nigeria, Brazil is, in a way, have some similarities with Nigeria in terms of population and in terms of their, like, everywhere you see Brazilians, they are ready to assist you, and I've not seen any crime actually. Okay, but I'm saying that Brazil is similar to Nigeria in terms of population, because when I was trying to do a research online, trying to know the population of Brazil, is around 200 point something million, right? Which is similar to what I have in my country. So talking about the orientation, my orientation has really changed about Brazil. Okay. And one thing that surprised me negatively, anyway, in the state where I am, I didn't know that Brazil has different weather in different regions. Okay, so I was
Yeah.
thinking that it's gonna be, or I was thinking it's gonna be a very chill place where I will have to be wearing my jacket all the time and all, but it's not like that.
Okay.
In the
All
state where
right.
I
Now let's talk
am,
about,
in the state where
yeah,
I am,
Brazil
it's
is really,
usually the weather is not cold, just like the way I have it in my country. And
in Florianopolis in the south, it's always cold. It's always
yes,
cold. At times,
yes,
majority of the time, it's always cold.
yes, yes.
So,
That's one thing about
when it-
some of my colleagues that are in the south, GCUB recipients. When I was complaining about heat, they were complaining about cold. They will have to be boiling water before they will bath, before they will drink, according to them. And me, I was complaining about hotness.
yeah, I think even the time difference in some states, the states are Amazonas around Manaus. They're like 1 hour behind us,
Behind,
behind us.
yeah,
Florianopolis. The time difference also changes from people in their Amazonas state.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, there's also a time difference. Now, let's talk about. Oh, there's a question here. Chilima, welcome to the live show. And here she says, please, apart from teaching, can you secure a job in production company in Brazil without knowing how to speak Portuguese?
So we all know that Brazil, their primary language of communication is Portuguese. So if you want to get any, and there are so many opportunities. That's one thing I've been saying. There's so many opportunities, but you must learn how to speak Portuguese. For instance, if you get to Brazil, do you know you can actually go for programming school, especially in my state? You can go for programming school, you can learn Java, you can learn any other programming language you want to learn, developing a website, but there's a need for you to learn Portuguese because mode of communication, mode of dissemination of information, even in the class, is Portuguese. So it will be so tough for you to be employed without you being able to speak Portuguese. So if you are planning to go in this direction, I think it is better for you to start learning Portuguese now. If you have basic, you can still manage.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So you can still manage. Yeah, and also it depends on some states. Like for example, here in the south, there's a state I got this information from one of my brothers who lives in Paraná. He told me like in Paraná there are many production companies there, many production companies there that don't care about the language. Like when you're working like in production companies, especially the manufacturing area, you don't really need Portuguese because it's just more of like you just go there, mind your business,
Oh
put
yeah,
things
yeah,
together.
that's true. That's true. Talking about manufacturing company. It is actually possible. There's no lie. There's no doubt. You can actually get a job without you being able to communicate in Portuguese. It depends on the area, just like you mentioned.
Yes. Also like IT, just like you're saying, everything IT. That's why you can easily get a job in an IT company with speaking only English. All right, with little
But
Portuguese. All right.
even at that, do you know there's still some companies that are looking for people that can speak English. We're not even talking
Okay.
about teaching now. There are some companies that are looking for English speakers.
That's right.
So there are different opportunities depending on how lucky, how you can search and how you can, search for the job.
That's right. It's all these things I think they're possible. Just like we said. All right, there's one person here that was talking about, the person was talking about after your master's under this program, can you apply for a PhD program, like to link?
Yes, you can. That's one beautiful thing, although the scholarship, um, officially, the scholarship body says when you are done with your masters, you are supposed to go back, right? But
Yes.
if you finish your masters, you can actually continue your PhD. And PhD here is free, and you're going to be getting your
Yeah.
stipend as well. So that means you are
Yes.
going to develop a good rapport with your supervisor and come up with a very good, fascinating project. So if you can do that, you can just continue your PhD and you continue getting your stipend.
Yes.
I,
You
I
can
have a
just,
friend. I have a friend in my lab right here, and he came from Argentina. When he finished his
okay.
PhD, he he discussed with the coordinator. According to him, he discussed with the coordinator and he started his postdoc. Okay, he started his postdoc and he's being paid. Meanwhile, he was supposed
Wow.
to go back. He was supposed to go back, but he didn't go back.
Okay. All right, we're supposed to go break the go because when they give you masters, normally masters is 2 years, but they give you 3 years resident permit. So when you're almost completing your masters, you can just engage into PhD. This only affects people who have permanent residence. When you have permanent resident, then you can apply for scholarship. So, for example, if you are studying and let's say you have a child or you got married to a Brazilian and you switched your visa from the temporal to the permanent, then what happens? In this case, you cannot apply for this scholarship program. This program is not for people who have permanent residence. They cannot take part into this program. All right. So somebody's asking here that please, when is the next start date? Any idea? And can one defer their scholarship? All right. Let me answer the first part, and then you answer the second part. So, like I said, we are still on the second edition, and until everybody's going to get in the first day, which is going to start next year in March. So I think you have enough time to apply for your visa. If you have the scholarship, you can just start immediately to apply for your visa. All right. So the next batch is going to start up, I think maybe July. Maybe they'll just make it the same. Maybe July every year. And it starts July, but anytime it's going to start, I'm going to announce it on my channel. Okay. For the third edition. It says here, can you defer the scholarship,
Yes, it's
Dr. Mike?
possible. If you want to defer your scholarship, you can actually defer it. You just have to write to the point of the school. I mean, write to the point of the school and tell them that because of this, I have a colleague that deferred our own admission. We got the first. She's part of the first set, but right now she has not traveled. She deferred the admission, so it's possible for you to defer it.
All right, so you can defer. Is there a maximum period of time that you cannot defer after that?
So I think once you get your acceptance letter, you can just write them that okay, you are not going to be available for a particular period of time. So I believe they will give you a response, and they will tell you the terms and conditions. If you can only defer for 6 months or you can only defer for 1 year, they will let you know.
All right. Welcome to live stream, Hasiba. I think she's asking here, can I apply for PhD within the country, or will I need to return to my home country to reapply for admission there? I am an approved master's program, so I think we just answered it a few minutes ago. So for the master's program, you'll be given 3 years permit, and after your 2 years of the master's, you can apply for PhD while you are in Brazil, and you just continue. All right. And another person is asking here, um, um, Are there private universities with courses in English?
Are they private university that what?
That the language of teaching is English, of course.
Oh, so before this live session, I was having a conversation with a medical student, a doctor. She is from a private university and she's in my lab doing a research. And I was asking her about if they are being taught in English. And she said there are some here in Para, there are some that teaches in English, but the one where she's from, they teach in Portuguese. So there are some private
All
schools
right.
that teach in that teaches in English.
Yeah, I think there are many private schools, like even international schools, that will teach in English,
Yes.
and I think the tuition there, and the tuition is not that much as compared to other North American countries. If there's a tuition, maybe it can fall between $2,000 to $5,000, but I'm not sure. I'm not really sure about that. I haven't really. I like to give out things that you can easily get for free, right? So you
Okay.
spend less. Okay. Now, here is this person's asking, "Hello, Joseph. Welcome to the live stream. What can you say about Recife, University of Pernambuco, and
Pernambuco.
Brazil?"
Pernambuco.
Recife is a good state, very nice state, very, very, very nice state. Recife is also safe. It's a safe state. It's a safe that's a good state. But engineering is a good course to do in Brazil. Engineering, IT, manufacturing, I think agriculture as well is very, very good. Okay. So another person is asking a question here that please, I want to know if you can work, if one can work if he accompanies his spouse who has this program. I think we've answered it already. Yes, the dependent can work full time. Okay. Hello, Christopher. Welcome to live stream. So yes, your spouse can work full time. Okay. So while I'm waiting on the other questions, yes, Dada. Welcome to live stream. You're allowed to get. You can get normally your contract says you shouldn't work, but you can get a remote part-time work, and you can get this, and but mostly it should be remotely, and it should be a self-employed kind of service, because if you have like a work, it's going to be registered online under your work permit. So if you want to do this kind of jobs while you're in school, it should be part-time and it should be remotely, and it should be a self-employed business. Okay, because if not, it's going to be registered in the system under your work permit. And Aisha is asking, how many vacation days do students usually have each year?
Student can have as many as 3 months.
As many as 3 months. Okay. So how are your classes? How are your classes? The courses that you have. How many courses do you have per semester? And how is
Okay,
it?
so it depends on the program you are doing right now. My classes are usually decided between me and the classes I'm having right now is usually decided between me and the professor, the lecturer. Okay, so usually the classes you'll be having, or the class you're going to be having per day as a PhD student, even per week, it might just be two weekly. As a master student, you might be having up to 3 or 4 weekly.
Classes every week.
Yes.
Okay. So is there a specific time? Do you do also like the other levels, like morning session, afternoon session? Do you do like that?
Oh, so
Or do you
we
have to
don't.
choose?
We have to once we decide that okay, this is the time we're going to be meeting, then we just meet. Like the language class, when I came, the language class, they didn't get our opinion about class anyways for the language class. So we're just told that every 2 p.m. on Fridays we're going to be having. So they just told us the venue of the class. But the major course that you're going to be offering in your department, it will be what everyone that is going to offer the course is what you guys are going to agree on.
Okay. All right. So I want to ask like, okay, so also I want to ask this question. When you're in Brazil and you have like 3 years for your master's degree, and let's say something comes up, maybe you're a girl and you give birth and you have to wait for a year or so, will the resident permit time be extended? Will it be
I didn't
extended?
get
Let's if you start studying and then something comes up that you have to like defer from your like you have to stay away from your studies for maybe a year or 6 months, will it be
okay.
added to your resident permit?
Oh, so if you're not going to be in the country, I don't think it will be added. I don't think it will be added.
Okay, so it cannot be added.
If in as much you're not going to be in the country, but if you be in the country, it might. But usually, I don't think it will be added.
Okay, so now I want to ask about Portuguese. So is it easy to learn Portuguese to you? Is Portuguese easy?
Okay, so for me, I am a kind of person that is when I want to learn something, I usually try to get as many information as possible. So and it's not that hard, so to say. It's not that hard. If I look at my progress and the efforts, right,
Yes.
it's not hard. If I look at the
All right.
progress and the effort, if I weigh the two, I would say to learn Portuguese is not hard. Just get the right material and be in the right circle. You will learn easily.
Okay. Wow. So, in your opinion, what do you think is the best way, the tips that you can give for a beginner, like someone who wants to learn Portuguese? What are your tips? Can you tell us your secret?
Okay, so if you want to learn Portuguese, first try and get a material that teaches Portuguese in your own local language, in your mother tongue, right? If you're coming from Nigeria, for instance, and you want to learn Portuguese, get a material that explains it in English, okay, so that it will be easier for you because if you don't, it is a language that you're trying to learn. If you're not trying to learn it in that same language that you don't know, it will be tough, right? So um, try to get a material that explains it in your mother tongue. Then try to be speaking it, even though if it is wrong, people will correct you. So by that you can learn it easily.
Okay. I always hear many people will saying, "I'll watch movies, watch Portuguese movies to be
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you
fluent."
for mentioning that. You can also listen to Portuguese music, movie. Me, I don't usually watch movie. Maybe that's why it doesn't come to my mind. But I listen to music. Even in
Yeah.
class, the teacher might pause, the lecturer might pause and play you music, right? So music is one of the medium through which I'm learning Portuguese.
Okay, I think caller, welcome to the live stream. I think here this person is giving her a tip. I once applied to when I was applying for the Brazilian visa last year. I used Duolingo. Same here. I used Duolingo before I came to Brazil. The very first time before I came to Brazil. But now I think there are a lot of upgrades there with the Duolingo app.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also good. There are many online platforms where you can learn. Now, for beginners, I'll advise you, but I'm going to do a video about tips that you can learn Portuguese faster. Right? I think it's always good to start first with the common phrases in
Yeah.
Brazil. The easy common phrases, try to get to know them. And then after that, what you need to focus on after the common phrases, the next thing you want to pay attention is to, it's just like French. They're common verbs. Write down the common verbs that you use every day, like to play, eat, sleep, watch, sing. You write all of them down and write it in Portuguese. When you know the verbs, the next thing you want to pay attention to is their maybe the prepositions: in, out, on, at, and once you know those things and you know the verbs in the different forms, in the present form, in the past form, in the future form, then it's going to be easy for you. And then the last thing you want to focus on now is different areas. For example, house. How do you call bed, chair, and that? You go to hospital. What are the vocabularies? Once you know those areas, it's going to be easy for you to put them together, one or two together. And how can you tell? What can you say about Brazilian music, Dr. Mike? You
How
spoke
what?
about Brazilian.
So I didn't get the question.
What can you say about Brazilian music? You said you always listen to
Oh
Brazilian
yeah,
music.
Brazilian music is very, they are very interesting kind of music, and Brazilian they are very rich in culture, so to say. So their music is intertwined with culture and some other things. Some of them even translate American music to their to their language. So their music is fine. It's interesting to listen to. Yeah.
Yeah, the music is very nice. And somebody is asking still for accommodation. Welcome to live stream, love it. We spoke about accommodation already. Before you're coming in, I sent a link in this chat section. I think maybe you can follow it later on. I'm going to leave the chat open, and after the live show, you can rent like a temporal housing. And then when you reach Brazil, there are a lot of rental services everywhere. Like even every 100 meters, you can have like two or three rental services, even online. It's going to be easy for you to get a short term or long term rental. And here, somebody's saying here that if you're in Nigeria, you can enroll for Portuguese in LASU. That's if you're very sure of getting your Brazil visa to Brazil, then you can enroll into maybe Brazilian courses from your country, from your home country. Okay, and somebody's asking a question here. In terms of accommodation, what do you advise a newcomer to Brazil about apartment hunting? What is the best way to secure accommodation and the charges? I think we're spoken about this already as well. We're spoken about accommodation, like I said. It's very easy. Most of the things here are done online. Majority of the things here are done online. Even like signing your contract and all those things, you can do everything online. You don't. The only time you want to go to accommodation is maybe you want to visit it to check to see if everything is in place, or what you saw online is what you ordered versus what you get. All right, and then that's the only time you can visit, and you can do your signing of the contract and everything online. We also spoke about accommodation. It depends on the state where you are. If you're single, you can get accommodation as cheap as 500 reals. 500 reals is equivalent to $100. 500 reals to plus. It's up to you. Okay. So I'll just leave the next maybe 5 minutes. If you have any more questions, you can drop them about Brazil and about studying in Brazil through this program as a whole. Now, there's somebody who spoke about sending the link for private universities. Private universities, I think 80% of Brazilians as a whole, or the population of Brazil, 80% are enrolled in public schools. If you check their statistics online, so very few enroll in private schools, and majority of them is in Portuguese and Spanish. You have just very few. Maybe you're going to see a university that will not be giving you a program that of your choice in English. Okay, so I want to ask this question, doctor. What if your program is in Portuguese and you don't know Portuguese? How can you easily catch up? Do you have to be doing translations for every course?
So you have to be, once you get to Brazil, you can tell your coordinator to give you space to like 3 months to learn Portuguese. But the longer it is, the it will just be as if you are delaying your program, right? So you can actually be going to class, interacting with colleagues, and be going to your language class. So the only thing is that once you're about to do exam, if you're doing masters, when it is time for you to do exam, or you can approach the professor and ask the person if it is possible for him or her to give you slides of the classes so that you can translate them. And you can also ask if it is possible for you to be assessed in English. So if the professor says yes, because most of them are very flexible, they can say yes. They can say yes to you. So if they say yes, then that means you are good to go. But if it is somebody that is kind of not okay with that kind of proposal, you might just have to find way around it. Okay, you might decide that you don't want to write the exam yet. See when you understand.
Okay. So, yeah. So that's another thing. I just want to ask the program that you enrolled in, was there the language or of the medium of teaching, right? The language. Was it in English?
No, the one
Was
I'm
it
doing right here is in Portuguese.
for yours is in Portuguese. All right.
Yes, yes, yes.
Wow. So let's talk about the education in Brazil as compared to that of Africa from Nigeria. How is their education, the quality of education?
Oh, the education, the quality of education, what I've seen so far is standard. Standard, like compared to what I have in Nigeria. I think Brazil education is, even in their Portuguese format, is standard than what I have in. I'm talking about university education now. What I've seen so far is
Yes.
standard compared to what I have back home. Because the first month that I came here, a PhD student she gave a seminar, and she's just 2 years into the program. And what she did, the presentation she did, was just as if she was done with the whole PhD program. In terms of the quality, they invited different people. They invited somebody that she one of the things she used was a particular statistical app, and the person that built the app from UK connected to the proposal, and she was just 2 years into the program, and they invited a medical doctor too, and the kind of questions they were asking her and the way she was able to respond, I was wowed. And later, subsequently, people that presented theirs, it was a challenge to me to sit up. Okay, so their level of education is standard, especially at the university level.
Yeah. It's really cool. I love the way like even now the 21st century they're more of like the teacher is more of like the facilitator. Like all back then in Africa that we used to study is more of like theory. And here now you can see it's more of like hands-on, practical.
Exactly.
There are times when you mostly have to do presentations and all those things, which is completely or totally different from
What we have in
back
Africa.
a lot of hands-on. There's a question that somebody asked me before. Do you know if there are vocational universities here? I've never
Do I
really done about that.
do I what?
Vocational universities, like vocational
No,
schools.
there are vocational courses that you can enroll for, even if as you are doing your master's or PhD. There are some other vocational thing you can enroll for. For instance, in my school, you can apply for you can enroll for music school.
Okay. Wow.
Just yesterday, somebody sent a like a vocation to our group, foreign student group. Like if you want to learn how to do cafe, if you want to learn how to do cafe, so there are different vocations that scattered across this place that you can enroll for.
Okay. So yeah. So I think love it. I think we've answered about their work. We are not permitted to work, but how do we do side hustle? We've already answered it before. I think maybe if you go in the live stream before, we've answered that. Daniel, about Pelotas, is Pelotas a safe city? Oh, we have thousands of cities in Brazil. So I've never heard of this city before. So, but I think like when it comes to safety, it is just you to come experience it because the way that I think I asked doctor before, the way that he heard about Brazil is not the way that he experienced it. So talking about safety, it depends on you. All right. Now, what are the things to consider about looking for rent? We answered that already. And being close to the university, that's up to you. How you're going to look for your rentals. I've also done a video about renting in Brazil. Okay. So, do you have to learn? I need a month preparation of Portuguese classes to start. Yeah, it's good to start learning your Portuguese right now, immediately after you get. All right, somebody's asking, is Rio Grande do Norte in general and Natal specifically a safe place? Or if you have any information about that. I think Natal is also a safe state. I saw it under safest cities, Natal. Okay, all right. So I think we've really answered a couple of. I think we've answered a lot of things about studying in Brazil, and there's some useful links that I've done videos before. I'm going to leave them in the description section for those who want to follow, as well as if you have any other questions that maybe you remember after the live stream, you can leave them in the comment section. All right, you can leave them in the comment section, and we'll be always here to answer the questions. So, Dr. Mike, what advice can you give to prospective students for this program?
Okay, so thank you very much. What I would say is that if you, whoever that is coming to Brazil, just right now, as part of your preparation, include the Portuguese class as part of your preparation, okay? So that by the time you get here, it will be easy for you to move around, to carry on. And by the time you get to Brazil, you will learn more. And Brazil people are usually willing to assist. So if you are coming to Brazil, it's a good thing. Don't see it as a big challenge in terms of the language. Don't see the language as a big challenge. By the time you get here, it's what you can overcome. So I would also like to say that because we have a group, a WhatsApp group of the previous GCUB recipients. Okay, so if anybody wants to come to Brazil, they can send you their number, so we can add them to the group. So on this group, there are some other questions that they might want to ask in terms of along the line as they are preparing, as they are applying for visa and all of that. So they can send their numbers to you so that we can add them to the group.
Yeah,
So they can also ask
or
about
you can
things that are
give me the
different.
WhatsApp number. You give me the WhatsApp number. I'll leave it in the description section,
Okay,
or
no
I'll
problem.
pin it on the chat.
Okay, no problem. So there are some other
Yes.
people that are in different school because me, I'm in the north. There are some other people that are from the south. We are all in this group. So they can ask them two questions. Okay.
Okay. So here, Joseph is asking, can you give the required documents for a visa? I think we've answered that question as well. If you're coming in, you can go start from the beginning of the live show. You're going to see we've answered that already, the important documents. Now, before we go, there's somebody who asked about insurance, getting insurance. Where can you get insurance for your application of your visa? I think insurance is not really necessary, but I think some countries ask for for insurance. But if you want to buy insurance, you don't need to buy too much. You need to buy only for a year, 1 year.
Yeah.
And there's a company that you can get cheap insurance. It's called ECTA online. I'm going to type it in the chat section here. Called ECTA, like that. You can get a Brazil insurance there that will cover. And you can just type ECTA insurance, Brazil insurance, ECTA company. And it says, what can we pack for Brazil? That's another thing. What can we pack for Brazil, Dr. Mike?
Okay, what can we what?
What can we pack for Brazil? Like, what can we bring to Brazil that you think is
Oh
useful?
yeah, okay. So one of the cultural shock, how when you get to Brazil, is the variation, the different kind of food that are available. So it depends on where you're coming from. When I was coming, I packed. I didn't pack rice. I didn't pack beans, but I packed our local. There's a food called gari in Nigeria, so I packed gari and I packed spices. Then we packed beverages. Okay, so basically these are the things that are needed for you to when you are coming to Brazil. But anything liquid, you can. I'm not sure you can. At the border, they will seize it. So don't bother to pack anything liquid, but you can pack the cassava flour. You can pack beverages.
Gary. Gary is different from the taste of the Gary here. It's completely
Yes.
different.
What we have here, although some people think it's Gary, the farofa, I don't think it's Gary. It's not our kind of Gary.
Yes. And I also want to say, if you're coming here, especially to the South region, you want to get a lot of, how do you call them? You want to get a lot of pullovers, like sweaters. You want to buy sweaters, pullovers, like things that, because clothes are expensive here. They're more expensive here. I also want to talk about your gadgets. Gadgets in Brazil are very, very expensive. So if you're coming here to Brazil, make sure you buy your gadgets from home, your laptop, your phones. Make sure you get them ready, okay? Because it's very, very expensive here. And if you're also getting some of them in Brazil, they deal only with particular models of phones, like very popular models like Apple, Samsung, LG, Motorola. So if you're coming here with phones, maybe you want to buy these ones I'm talking about, because it's going to be easy for you to fix them if it has any trouble. Because here in Brazil, if you bring, let's say, maybe your phone and the model is that which you can find in Brazil, if anything happens to your phone or anything, then it's going to be, you need to get a new one. All right. So it's very, very important. Don't say, okay, I'm going to get a laptop, I'm going to get a computer, I'm going to get a phone, I'm going to get my charger from Brazil. No, it's damn expensive here. I think you should pack what you can eat for at least 5 months. Okay, yeah. So that's it. So I think that's it. How long does it take for the visa to be out? Like I said before, it was a short time, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and your visa is out. But since the beginning of this year, because of the change of the president, I think things are a little bit slower right now, and that's why even this program started earlier. The first edition started in October. The application started in October, and the results were out around November. The studies had to start in March. But this year, because of the long processing time, the application started in July, and the results are out now in October. So you have now until February to apply for your visa. Now it takes between a month to 3 months. Okay, depending on the location where you're applying for. Okay. Yeah. So you should take a lot of things. Okay, so somebody is saying here, take your pullovers, pepper, especially for your people as well. So the pepper is also very important. Take it because here is, but I think we have some pepper here, like the Cameroonian pepper. We have it here. So we have it in some of the malls here. I found. Okay, so if you're not patient there, you can always follow the live stream, start it all over. For perspective, for people who got the scholarship, congratulations to you, and congratulations to your for your, I wish you the best for your visa application, as well as your stay in Brazil. Like those people who are chatting here, we're going to meet from time to time. I would like to know your experiences in Brazil, and how you see Brazil, and so on. And that's it. Okay, so if you have any further questions, you can always leave them in the comment section, and we're going to look at them later. All right, so before going, I'll just hold some people in the comment section before we go. If you still have any question, there's still time. You can leave it in the chat section. All right, you can leave in the comment section. So thank you very much, Love It, for watching. Thank you very much, Fumi, for watching. Thank you very much, Joseph, Aisha. Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you very much, uh, Abdul. Gary is very, very important. Yes, Gary, very, very important. You know, and I miss Gary. I miss, you know, Ifani. Thank you very much. Daniel, thank you very much. And Christopher, thank you very much. And I'm going to look, how about red oil? So red oil is, or palm oil is a liquid. So it's going to be hard to transport that. I think that will be easily traced out. So if you, red oil is a liquid, so you don't need to carry it along. It's going to be taken out. And also it's very, you can bring stockfish, crayfish, it's up to you. But they have red oil here, but it's not the same. It's not the same like the African red oil. Okay, and you rarely see them, but you mostly see them in the local markets. All right, so thank you all very much. Please, before you want to go, make sure I like the video. Please like the video, and you can also share to people who are coming in for this program, who don't know what to do. And I'm also going to leave the number of the WhatsApp group for people who are already here, who are already doing this program, currently doing this program here, and you're going to join the WhatsApp group. Thank you, Lucas. You're going to join the WhatsApp group, and if you have any further questions, they might help you out. All of them in the WhatsApp group are already in Brazil. All right, so they will have a lot of experience about studying in Brazil. All right, thank you very much, Lucas, for joining the live stream, and we're going to meet again another time. Thank you very much. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and to like, share, and hit the notification bell as well, so that you get updated every time I upload a new video. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.